Today we're going to discuss the two options of raising your own personal protection dog or buying one that is already trained as a personal protection dog. Hi, I'm Charles.
And I'm Marley, and you're watching Our Protection Dogs.
So in this video we're going to weigh up the two options of raising your own puppy as a personal protection dog and buying one from the shelves. We're going to discuss the pros and the cons thereof, and we're also going to try and give you some advice that if you do make a choice on either or, that you actually do have an idea what to look out for and what is the good way to go or what is a bad way to go. So I think to start off, let's start off with the puppy. I think it's getting an 8-week-old puppy. It's very exciting getting a puppy. Everybody likes puppies. But one good thing that we have to look at, and we're going to discuss particularly your Malinois and your Dutch Shepherd. So if you want to buy a dog that's going to be raised and trained as a personal protection dog, you're going to have to look for a good breeder with very good genetics. This is going to be extremely important for you to go to if you want to train a personal protection dog. Genetics is everything when it comes to wanting to train a dog that's going to protect you.
And I think what I want to add there is, so if the dog is registered, it doesn't mean it's a good dog. So yes, mom and dad registered, must be good dog. No, that's not what we mean. We're looking at working abilities and capabilities. So we want to know what kind of work does the parents do. Are they personal protection dogs? How's the protection skills of the parents and of the previous litters? And that's the kind of stuff you look at, not if it's FCI registered or anything like that, or any other registry, because that's not what we're talking about here when we say good genetics and a good breeder.
It's proven. You want to see that those bloodlines are proven in the work that you want to do. Obviously, when we're looking at work, we're not talking a dog that does fly ball or agility or something like that, because that's not what we want. We want a dog when it comes to the bite work, because that's how they're going to protect you. It's going to bite work. So is mom and dad a strong biter? Do they do bite work? Do they do a sports? Are they in the working environment? And then yet again, it doesn't mean because mom and dad bites because the trainer says that, or the owner says that, or the breeder says that. There needs to be proof of this. You need to see that in a sports or in a environment of a working environment. And I always try and look at the sports dogs, because especially your blood lines or your lines or your genetics that come from sports, like for instance PSA, IGP, KNPV, they are usually very good dogs that come out of those lines that you can trust, because these dogs are proven and you can see them. Yeah. You can see them and they get trained. So you can actually see the ability of these dogs. Yeah. Negativity about getting a puppy, it takes a lot of time. Let's say for instance now you've done your homework, you're getting a good puppy at 8 weeks. So from 8 weeks to 12 weeks, actually from 6 to 12 weeks is the imprinting phase of a pup. But you want to get that pup at 8 weeks. So when you get your puppy at 8 weeks, you need to teach it basically as much as what you possibly can do with the development of, for instance, prey drive when it comes to the biting. Your biting skill is the most important. Obedience can be trained later on, but what you would like to do is you want to get that prey drive developed in that puppy. How to bite, get that flirt ball out. If you check out our previous videos on how we train Billy Bones and how we're busy training Billy Bones, you'll see what is involved with that. This is knowledge that you need to know, just knowledge. It's not the fact of swinging something around, the dog bites it, yippee, we've got a dog that bites. It doesn't work like that. You have to work with the mental side of the pup.
Okay, so we still like on timing. So you have to prepare yourself for at least 2 to 3 years of work with this dog to get it up to a level where it can protect you, or to have something you can be proud of. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of driving around, a lot of socializing, there's a lot of time spent with the dog. And then we get to the fact that if you are not a dog trainer, because obviously you aren't because you're watching this video, so now you have to get a trainer to help you. So you have to actually go through this whole thing of finding someone that's got the same outlook and goals as you, and that trains in a good way, that knows that the bite work has foundation, and it's got different stages of things to go through, not just swinging a rag and hitting it with a whip and then the dog bites. It doesn't work like that. And then also for your obedience, someone that uses reward-based training, those kind of stuff you need to look out for, or look for now. So you have to find the right person to help you and to guide you on this journey with your dog.
So we made a whole video regarding that, and go and have a look at it and see how difficult it is to choose a trainer or a school that's going to help you. You're not going to go to a pet obedience school to train a personal protection dog. It doesn't work like that. You need to train the dog for what is going to, or the pup, for what is going to happen in its life. And time is a big thing, and you might not find a place that's close to you. You're going to find a place usually that you have to travel far to go and train your pup. And then the other thing is like, it's dumbstruck to me that people will just take at face value what the trainer tells them. You know, this is the way I train, or this is the way I was taught, so this is the way I teach. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So you need to do your homework regarding all of this. Need to know the person that's going to help you to train your dog, and they need to know the knowledge thereof.
And then I think you need to prepare yourself as well to actually raising the puppy, the everyday life with the puppy. I always say, like, they're very cute when you get them like at 8 weeks and you fall in love with them, and they're like the best thing out there. And then they get you to 5 months, 6 months, up to about a year, where they are really a handful.
You want to kill them.
Very busy as they're exploring, getting to know what they can do, what they can't do. Very destructive. So if you've got like fancy furniture in your home, outside,
TV remotes, aircon remotes,
and like the feet of the chairs and the couches at the bottom, things like that, like you take your eye off them for a second and
damage is done,
and they've chewed up your phone charger or something. So you need to know that you've got the patience to do something like that, because reprimanding the puppy constantly as well is going to be detrimental to the dog as well. So you need to be prepared to crate trade the dog, so that if you don't have time to look after it, it can go into a crate. And so then now we go into a whole different thing of what you need to know what to do. So even though puppies are nice, they also go through a stage where it's not so nice. And if you don't know how to do the potty training, that can really I think that's something that most people struggle with. Yeah. That if people contact us, it's the destructiveness and the potty training that they can't get right. So you need to know how to do these things, or educate yourself, read up, or get someone that can help you before you go on to this journey of your puppy.
Did you say the vaccinations? Talk about
no,
the vaccinations. Obviously, that first couple of months, vaccinations are very important, and you're doing a lot of vaccinations. The last vaccination is at 6 weeks before you get your pup, and then from there on, you are responsible for vaccinating and deworming your pup. So that's at 9 weeks, and then from 9 weeks there's a 12. We'll look at our videos, previous videos on how when to take your dog, and obviously it's not that costly, but it all adds up at the end of the day, and you have to be strict on that, to remember that and take your dog through so that happens. So just another thing is if you think that maybe you're going to travel with your dog, or maybe leave the country, and that stuff is not up to date, your dog's not going to go with you. So it's very important to keep those kind of things up to date.
Yeah, I think something I would like to add with the training side of it, that we also get a lot, because we also offer like inboard training. People send their dogs to us. People will buy a puppy, and that's there in their yard and everything, and then they want to send it to me for a month, and I must fully train it. And it just doesn't work like that. And if someone promises you that, I can guarantee you now your dog doesn't know everything after that month. So you can't expect that as well. It doesn't work like that. So if you are prepared to send your dog then to someone on a regular basis, then it could work. I think we have one client like that.
Yeah.
That's ever worked, but he has been religious in sending the dog back at the right ages, and he's got a really super personal protection dog. So think about that as well, and that costs money. sending your dog to a good trainer is going to cost you money.
All right, then, do you have the knowledge to choose the right pup? We get this a lot. The cute factor comes into play. Oh, it's got a cute little black face. Oh, I want the dark one. Oh no, I like the light one. Ooh, look at the little white paw. All those kind of things. Unfortunately, if you're going to choose a puppy on the cute factor, you might tend to want to choose the wrong dog, because bear in mind that you want to choose a dog that's going to have the capabilities, when it's trained, to save your life. It's going to be in a situation where somebody can die, you or somebody in your family can die, and this dog needs to have the capabilities genetically and trained, because without training, genetics means absolutely sweet bugger all. So is this dog going to be the one that's going to be able to save your life? Now, a lot of people say, oh, my dog will save my life any day. You can just walk. I'm telling you now, it won't. The dogs that did do that they get in the front of a newspaper or at the 8 o'clock news. Those dogs make that kind of news.
Like 1 in a million.
It's even 1 in 50 million. I go as far as that. Your dog's not going to be, just because it runs around in the yard and barks and looks very aggressive
and
nips someone on the backside. Yeah. That does not mean that your dog is going to protect your life when somebody arrogant comes in to do physical harm on you or your family. It's not going to work. So you need to have the knowledge to choose the right pup for what's going for the job that it's going to be trained for.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to put a year or so's work into a dog, and then it's not going to protect you, or you realize, well, this dog does not enjoy the training of the protection work, and it's just not in the genetics. And you get that even from in a good litter. You do get the ones that just is not going to be the right fit for what you want to do with it.
Yeah, and obviously buying a pup is way cheaper than buying a fully trained personal protection dog.
But there's risks involved.
There's risks, and also all these add-ons. Time, the old saying, time is money. So for the next 2 years of that dog's life, 2.5 years of that dog's life, are you going to keep up going to training classes if you're taking it to classes? And then also, is once a week good enough? Are you going to do the homework that they give you to do if you're going to a good school? If you're not going to school, you're going to do it yourself. Are you going to spend every day training your dog, taking it out, socializing it with all the environment? Are you going to, do you know how to train your dog? Do you know taking it through the progression stages of bite work? All those kind of stuff. So if I have to look at it, if you're looking at a puppy, it's awesome having a puppy, you know, great.
It knows you,
yeah.
It knows the family, knows your routines.
Yeah.
And if you are the kind of person that's got the dedication, and if you've got the right support structure, like in trainers and people that can help you, then go for it. I mean, it's amazing. I know some people that they started off with a fully trained one, and their second one is a puppy, because they just enjoy the actual training of it so much. But those people are here twice a week training their puppies. And
basically constantly on messages and videos asking for help, and they want to do things right.
And then the trained dog.
Trained dogs are pricey. And there is a reason why a trained dog is pricey. So let me take you through a quick way how a training goes for a personal protection dog. And I need to tell you this, that not all or everybody that you're going to buy a dog from is going through these progressions. So what we do is we breed our own dogs. At 6 weeks of age, they start their training. So we start their bite work training, they get their vaccinations done by a vet. We try and socialize them as much as possible with loud noises, with different people. They do a lot of bite work. They start with a luring process until about when we start seeing they start teething. At this stage, when they start teething, they're already on a puppy sleeve, biting on a puppy sleeve. They can sit, they can down. not really to stand command, but they can sit, they can down, they can walk on a leash. They've got all this going for them. So once that then happens, when we see they start teething, we stop the bite work completely with the dogs. We don't want to have any problems with them classically conditioning bite work to being hurt on a sleeve or anything like that. We then take a lot of time in their socialization. They're going for walks, they're going out to meet people, to schools, their obedience training carries on, they learn to ride in vehicles, they learn to come into the house, in and out in the house. They've already been crate trained. So this carries on to about 8, 9, 10 months. When the teeth are out, then we start with the bite work again and start carrying on with the bite work slowly, building it up. Yeah, at about a year, call it a year and 2 and 3 months, depend on the dog. We start with getting more serious with their drive channeling, bearing in mind that prey drive has been developed, a little bit of defense has been tapped in already. We now start doing drive channeling, how to teach them how to change between the two. What is defense drive, how to fight in defense drive, how to switch back to prey drive. And once this is done, we now start with scenario based training. Like for instance, you're being attacked in a car. We're sitting over here and talking, and all of a sudden somebody bursts in wanting to, the dog learns to defend us. At the age of about 2 years, this dog now has done quite a few scenarios, and now starts now to get where it can now go to its family. So if you look at the progress that we've made with this dog, wasn't in a month. It took from 6 weeks to 2 years to get it now where it's trained in scenario training.
So it's a lot of work. So usually these kind of dogs is the pricey ones, because someone has put a lot of time and effort into a dog like that, and feels that the dog is worth that, and that the dog actually can protect you. Charles likes to call them shelf dogs. That you get to a facility, or you see it on the website, Fido is for sale, and there's 50 Fidos, and you want that one, and they say, okay, you can come fetch it, and you fetch it, and it wasn't that expensive. But you know why it wasn't that expensive? Is because there's not been a lot of training in that dog. It's probably been living in a kennel its whole life. It's all it knows. So it just knows that environment where it grew up. It can bite someone that agitates it with a whip. And also, most of the time, it's not even a good bite. It's like the little front teeth bite, lots of shaking. So that is what you're going to get for a cheap price. So I just say that someone that's really been putting a lot of time and effort into a dog is not going to sell it for a good price. Yeah. So you get what you pay for at the end of the day. And if you want really something that you can be proud of, that you can take everywhere with you, that you can show to your friends, and that you can have the feeling of
comfortable ease.
Or ease, that it is confident enough to protect you, is going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, just the mere look of a dog like this with you is going to paint a picture of stay away. It's a personal protection dog. So besides the price of being a negativity, a lot of people ask me this question as well, as how is that dog going to adapt to my family being raised and trained by you guys? So if a dog was carefully raised and trained with a lot of different people and socialized well, it's not going to be this monster that you think is at the end of the line throwing teeth and wanting to bite everybody that walks past it. It's going to be a social dog with the abilities to protect you. So when you get this dog, you're going to spend time with the dog. Dogs are the most successful animal species out there. If you think, if I was reading correctly on Google, they said about 1 billion dogs on earth, which most of them are not in homes or in shelters, but they're on street dogs. If I think of in Brasilia and places like that, those street dogs over there, they breed and they carry on, and they don't have any owners. They push over dustbins and they live in dustbins. They don't go back to the wild and catch rabbits like a lot of people think that dogs
live in the wild.
No, they live in urban areas amongst humans. They're very successful. They can look after themselves. So it's a successful breed. it's going to adapt. If I think of dogs coming from Holland, going to where they're fighting wars in the desert, where those dogs have to work in those environments, and they adapt very, very quickly. So these dogs adapt very quickly to their new environment. But also, if you did go to a good company that sells these dogs, they would help you with this and go through and guide you so that this makes it easier. But also they have to train for that. So you can train for that by having different people handling the dog, seeing different people, socializing the dog really, really well, that it is not afraid or has to think that there's something wrong with you, that you're going to hurt or harm it. So that is something that is a very, very good question to ask. But if the dog was trained and raised correctly, it won't be such a big matter for you to overcome that.
And there is a period in which the dog has to adjust. There is a period where they feel unsure, where they don't trust you, they don't know who you are, they don't necessarily have to work for you. We always call it like that. Like, it's also not a machine. It's not this dog that comes in that's programmed that you say sit and down and down. Well, it has to want to work for you. At the end of the day, it's still an animal, and it has to see the benefits of it, of working for you. So yeah, there is a period where you guys go through a bonding phase in where it learns that it has to listen to you as well. But once you're through that, yeah, it takes about a month to 3 months, I'll say.
It depends also on you, how you treat.
And the dog. Each dog is a different personality as well. So, but usually after 3 months, when I see the dog and the family again, I mean, they are in love with each other, and the rough patch is over. And then those dogs, a year later, and I can talk out of my own personal experience getting an older dog, and then now it's part of my family. A year later, it feels like you've had the dog its whole life.
All right, then the other question that we get, which can be a very big negative one, is kids. I'm not saying kids is negative, but what I say is a dog towards kids. This is one thing that everybody as a family, in a family, would like to know, is the kids. How's the dog going to be towards the kids? So yet again, this could be a negative thing, because not knowing and trusting, and again, trusting people at face value that this dog is going to be good with my kids. If the dog was raised properly and the people know, they'll say to you, this dog is not good with kids, or it's good with kids. And then also what you also have to be fair towards the dog is your kids good with dogs. I'm going to call it right out. If you've got arseholes for kids and they're going to kick and hit the dogs and bite their ears and pull their ears and have no respect for an animal because you didn't train them well, that's your kids now, then obviously the dog's not going to be good with kids. So hopefully you are a good parent, and hopefully that you did raise and train your kids properly, and they do have respect for life, like animals, cats and dogs, and any other life. Then everything will go well, and usually the dogs fall in love with the kids like you cannot believe.
Because they get a lot of attention
from the kids, and it's like they see them almost like equal when it comes to mindsets and things, and kids got play, kids are exciting to be with, so they start to love the kids really, really a lot. Let's look at a couple of another negative parts of another negative part that I would like to bring up is, for instance, once you've got, let's say, you're not used to having a big dog in your house. You having to get used to trusting a big animal like this in your house, and the idea of having a protection dog and it's gonna bite, can it bite me, those kind of stuff could be a negative part, but not from the dog side, but yourself. So you also have to do your homework well, and have to know that what you're letting yourself in for.
Yeah, and get a company that offers a after service. Like, if you have problems, or not problems, if you don't know how to handle things once you have the dog, that you can actually phone someone and ask, and not a company that sold you the dog and then say, well, now it's your problem. So get someone people that you like and that you don't feel weird about contacting afterwards, and ask things to. So that's important as well.
Another thing we didn't bring up with the pups with a health issue is hips and elbows. Unfortunately, no pup can be guaranteed, whereas a a fully trained working dog at 2 years or something, and a good company that you buy through will guarantee that. So, for instance, you will get a vet report with the photos that has been taken of the elbows and the hips, so that everything is good, that you know that is all good. So that is also a positive side on the fully trained personal protection dogs. And warning to you that want to buy that fully personal protection dog, make sure that that is done on the dog. Be careful of those shelf dogs, those cheap dogs being sold like that. Are those hips and elbows checked? It's a pricey thing, but it is not for you to take. It is for the trainer and for the breeder of that dog to make sure that that dog is quality and that the health can be at that age proven that nothing is wrong with the hips and elbows. You can't go now, if you've had your dog at 12 years and it's got hip and or hip dysplasia, phone the breeder back and start moaning at him and say you want to. It happens. It's normal. It can happen. And then how did you look after your dog? Did you run 50 kilometers with your dog every day behind a vehicle, which you don't do, but maybe you did these kind of things? Then obviously that's going to happen with your dog. You're going to get this. How did you look after your dog?
As long as the dog is healthy at the point of sale.
Yeah.
You know, when you get the dog, it was healthy. Hips and elbows were good. And then I think a big plus point about buying a trained dog already is like, you don't need to know how to train a dog. No. You just need to learn how to drive it, or you know. So you don't have to have all the knowledge of how to go through the foundation work. All you need to know is how to maintain what you've got and how to work with the dog. So that is quite easy. So if you're not really into dog training, then the fully trained dog is a better option, because you don't need all that knowledge, all that time. You can get it. Some people have dogs available immediately, some you have to wait 2 or 3 months to get the right dog, but you don't have a long waiting period, and you get the dog, you just need to learn how to work with the dog.
The nice thing about the waiting period of the dog, a lot of places then also give you the ability, the chance to pay it off monthly. So it's not one big amount that you pay in one go. If you do have the money, great, but you can pay it off until you get your dog. The other thing is also, you can realistically, a lot of these companies will ask you, what lifestyle do you need? Do you want the dog to run with you? Is the dog going to be expected to go out a lot, maybe to restaurants, to parties and things like that? Ride in a plane, on a boat, all those kind of stuff. And then they will train the dog accordingly for you. So that's also a nice thing if you have to wait for your dog, because these companies will like tailor train the dog for you. They listen to you. That's a plus point when it comes to using a good company.
You can get something really, really special there. Okay, so to recap quickly. Puppy, less expensive, much more work. You need to have the knowledge, but it can be very rewarding if you do enjoy training. Fully trained dog, expensive, not a lot of time and effort from your side, and just with the bonding period and knowing how to work with a dog like this and how to keep up the training. And then I think what I want to add with the fully trained dogs is, on a positive side to me, is what we've noticed selling these kind of dogs is how they change people's lives. And you might think, oh no, it's not going to change my life because I don't know this dog, it's coming in as an adult. But I mean, just the security and how safe they make you feel to have a dog like that with you, it has done wonders for people. And we have people that feed their dogs croissants and dogs.
Bacon on, don't forget that.
He's probably gonna swear at us. But and then they want another one and another one, and they like fall in love with these dogs because they do so much for you as a person. And it doesn't have to be a puppy to be able to become part of your family. I mean, dogs get introduced, shelter dogs go to new families every day. Military dogs get new handlers on a regular basis. Police dogs get new handlers and work for those handlers. So it doesn't mean that the dog has spent his first 2 years with me that he is not going to love you more, because usually they do. Because I have a few dogs I'm spending my time with where this dog is going to be your everything. And usually when I see these dogs again, they like, hello, I know you, bye, I'm going with a new person.
Yeah, they get time-shared, yeah.
Yeah.
They get time-shared, like you call it. I want to add in a little bonus here, and I want to give you guys a couple of tips. Might it be buying a puppy, might it be buying a fully trained protection dog? Make sure that you know who you're buying your pup or your dog from. Make sure that they can prove what the dogs are like. Make sure that those bloodlines are good bloodlines, that's healthy. And I say this, and I don't want to, I'm just saying for me personally, when I want to buy a dog, I look at the sports guys. Because they go out there and they show their dogs by doing a sport where they have to train it, they open themselves up to be judged, to see how good they are, or let's leave it at how good they are. And those are the kind of dogs that you want to look for, because you can trace the offspring of that litter or previous litters in what sports they are, and by that you can start looking and seeing with your homework which lines or which breeders are good breeders or trainers like that. Just buying a dog in the backyard, I always say don't trust a skinny chef. Don't I say that, that's a saying, but I like saying it, but no, because I'm but now here they're there. But don't trust somebody that just says to you that my dogs are good or my pups are good. What has the parents done? Are they just been there in the yard?
Just, like we said, just because they're registered.
Just because they're registered doesn't make them good dogs. You know, a poodle and a pug.
It's just the ancestry.
Is also registered. Yeah. Why don't you get one of them to do your personal protection for you?
Get a puppy from someone that trains what they breed.
Yeah.
That's important. Like, get from someone that trains what they breed.
Yeah, I like that.
Because, I mean, you can breed a lot of stuff and you send them to other people and think they're getting trained or whatever, but can you actually train the dogs that you breed?
Ask for references. Contact those references. How did you find the dogs? How did you find the professionalism of who you bought the dog from? All those kind of things play a role. Don't just go out there blindly and just listen to the first guy that says because he's been training for 30 years, doesn't make him a good trainer. 30 years of bad training stays 30 years of bad training. So that's a couple of tips that we can give to you before you go out there and make your decision of which way to go, puppy or fully trained dog.
I think that's us.
That's us. But before we go, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and maybe give us an idea of which route you want to go for your next dog.
Are you going for a puppy or are you going for a fully trained dog?
And if you've already bought, how did you find it? Was the puppy better or the fully trained dog? And please just know, if you do say the puppy was better, make sure that you did have the knowledge to train this pup. Don't just say something that doesn't have proof behind it, because we like proof. Cheers.
Bye.